Yo, so the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor podcast.
Well, why don't we get into something we like to talk about around this time of the show? It's that time to talk about the Bachelorette on our show. V, where do we start? Right. Like, this was a strange week. I felt uncomfortable watching this episode. I don't know why. Yeah, this guy, what's his name that got sent home? Like, he's just like really creepy.
Chris.
Yeah, creepy Chris.
Chris was we'll get into it, but I feel like he's like a classic villain, and he just like really has no self-awareness.
Yes, and I would agree.
So, but before we even get to Chris, all the men go to Minnesota. They go to the Twin Cities. They're in Minneapolis, where our girl, which this is the first season in a while where they're traveling anywhere. Obviously, like, this doesn't feel like a ton of travel, but it's like, it's like a pre-hometown to the hometowns.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And
this is usually, do they actually, at what point do they usually go back to her hometown?
I think like that when it's like after hometowns, so it's like when it's like right before the final usually.
So obviously she picks the Minneapolis man to go on a one-on-one date with first, right?
Right. So she picks Joe, her hometown hottie, if you will.
No surprise there.
No, Mr. Basketball, to go on the first one-on-one date. They do, some nostalgic shit. They go back to her high school, talk about growing up in the same area, all that stuff.
I'm not gonna lie, this is all pretty boring, all of it.
As we know Joe to be, is he's pretty, not a ton of words, but like they vibe together. I feel like we don't hear a lot from him because I feel like they just understand each other on such a quick level that like as us viewers, like it's really hard to like show that. So I feel like
I think what annoys me about this situation is the fact that they could have already been doing this. But because, like, she wasn't on TV yet, he wasn't interested. And she's always been interested in him. And now she's on TV. Now he's looking like the sweetheart or whatever like that. And it just bugs me,
I see.
Even though, they obviously do look good together. But that's just kind of my take on it. It's a hot take.
I see where you're coming from. I really do like their vibe together. I think, like, shared experiences and stuff like that is useful for them in building a relationship. And I think, that's helpful. And he does get into, I feel like we finally got to like dig a little bit deeper into Joe this episode because he gets a little bit more into how being a student athlete and
even before that, they put up like a blank slate, like a black like screen saying like, we're about to talk about depression and suicide. So
yeah, they gave like an actual pre-trigger warning and they put them in the promos for the show as well, just like a little thing, that's more than the show has ever done in the past. And actually, it's more than it even did before they had Jamie talk about how his mom committed suicide on a previous episode. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, they're picking favors on how?
I don't know, or if it's just like maybe they got some backlash with how that was handled, and then they're like, guess maybe we should toss this in here.
Right.
But interesting. But yeah, so he talks about, how the injuries and stuff of like when he was playing basketball affected his mental health because like once, when all you do is like do a sport like that and that's like what you're known to do and it's like what you're supposed to be great at and you lose your ability to be as good at it, you lose a large part of yourself is what he explains. And he's all like, I kind of was like, why am I even here? Like, why am I even like on this earth kind of deal? And so it was great to see him open up and like actually see more of like who he is besides the fact that I've always been like, oh, they'd be perfect together because they just get each other. And I thought that was good to see. But yeah, besides that, it was a pretty run-of-the-mill deep first date, I would say.
Do you think it's good to be into sports? Like I don't know, like as far as like playing them and stuff and like as a profession?
I mean, I don't know how to answer that.
I don't know. It's a weird question. I was asking you because you're the sports person on the show.
He didn't do it professionally, obviously. Right. I think it gets down to the degree of like, for me, when it comes to sports and like especially this time that we live in now, I think there's a lot of parents that push kids to be like,
they're like living vicariously through them,
to do a lot of stuff with sports, like, which I think, when you're a kid and growing up, I don't know if that's always super fair. And I'm happy that like my sport experience, like my parents never pushed any of me or my brothers to like stick with a certain sport or like do all this so that we would be the best at whatever sport if that's whatever.
Yeah,
my one brother was just the best at soccer and everything he did. He didn't even have to like try.
Yeah.
But like they never pushed and be like, you gotta like go to college and play and you gotta do whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it can be tricky with when it becomes like such a, if that's all you have, like even I heard, back when we've talked about Simone Biles and like her stuff with, she talked about how like, sometimes it's hard to disconnect when that's all your life and when you're not feeling good in it and you're not doing whatever, like it does get dangerous. Like it gets dangerous to yourself because then you don't even like, you don't have control over your body almost anymore.
Right. True. Yeah, I don't know at what level of playing sports is actually like the comfortable level. Like only maybe like if it's like a league that you play in like once a week or something like that. But besides that, yeah, even up to the highest level of playing sports like Simone Biles, she can, still be like, I can't do this right now,
Right.
So, yeah. So anyways, their date wraps up. They love each other and, it's going to be hard to compete with him. But what comes next?
So the group date card comes out. And before this even like happens, Chris S really has a complex. He thinks he really thinks, that he really did something with his like behavior last episode by like calling the other guys out or like letting her know. He really thinks Well, like,
he's getting in his head. Like, the guys are not messing with him. He's depending on his relationship with Michelle, which she's not even really messing with him either. Like, she knows what's up. She's just trying to make it to the next rose ceremony to let him go. But but it's just like he thought he was gonna get that. He thought he deserved the second one-on-one date. So when he got even called for the group date, he's all like, especially because it's Nayte, which is like his self-proclaimed nemesis. Mm-hmm. So he's like already like on one before even going into this date because he's all like, he has a similar complex to like what Jamie had, where like they're forgetting where they're at. They're forgetting that like they're not the star of the show. Mm-hmm. Like Michelle is. Like he does kind of similar stuff where he's all like I can't, like I'm disappointed that she didn't like come, whatever, like blah blah blah. Like he's pretty much like blaming her for the fact that during the group date and the cocktail portion, whatever, he didn't get talked to. Like, I know, you can just see like the difference between a person like that and then, here you have like Joe and Nayte who are going on one-on-one dates, and Joe has to read like the note to Nayte about their date after going on his date with Michelle, and they're still like cool with each other.
Joe and Nayte are chill with each other. Yeah. That's how you know like that they're both good dudes, even though they're the front runners.
Yeah.
Like if one of them wasn't a good dude, they would like be going for the ankles of the other one, but they're both like whatever. Like,
so she invites the group date to the stadium where they do like, they think they're going to meet the Vikings, but they meet some old guys dressed as Vikings, and they're going to do some Viking
bullshit.
And this is actually just another opportunity to try to convince us about our next
why
Bachelor.
Clayton should be the
and like, no one understands still. Like they're still like, why is this happening? And I get it. He's good looking. He's, you got the body. He's tall. He's sweet.
He's just a big burly white dude.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, boring. I'd rather see someone like, I mean, Joe would be probably boring as hell too, but I'd rather see him be the Bachelor or something. But
right.
I mean, he probably wins, so I don't know. But yeah. So here we go. We got Clayton, winning the Viking. What were they calling it? Viking warrior or something like that.
Something like that. I don't know.
Viking
I mean,
warrior.
It makes sense. This date was made for him. Like This is definitely like
He's
his
just
vibe.
roaring the whole time, like, you know, it's ridiculous. So yeah, he wins, and then they go on to after date where, Chris is not even. He's like the only person that doesn't talk to Michelle after saying
He doesn't even try. He's like in a different room for half the time.
Because he's scared. He's self-conscious. Like, you know, no one likes him. No one's probably talking to him except for the one dude that ends up
Martin
ends up putting his foot in his
Martin is
mouth.
befriending all the villains. I don't know why. It's
Because
like,
he's a villain. What are you talking about?
He's a fuckboy.
Yeah, well, he's got red flags all over the place. But that's the second group date, right? The last group date that like Martin's on, right?
There's only one group date for this.
There is. So he's on the same group date as this one with Chris? Because I thought there was like a... I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about the cocktail party.
You're talking about the cocktail party for the rose ceremony.
Yes. But so yeah, anyways, so yeah, they're on the group date. You know, Chris is talking about how he wants to talk to Michelle and like figure out why, you know, she doesn't like him or picking him or whatever. And he doesn't do anything about it. He's just talking shit. So she ends up giving the rose to Clayton.
She does the fake out, which we haven't seen since Tayshia's season, where, you know, the little fake out of like complimenting everybody. Yeah. Because I almost thought Brandon, who is notorious for getting group date roses, I thought he was gonna get it again. I was like, damn, 3 for 3, dog.
No, there's no way. He was kind of, I know she was like talking about how he like was trying and making an effort, but it came off corny to me. Like he was just kind of trying to get like kisses here and there, like, you know.
He's like a little puppy dog. Like he gives me like puppy dog vibes.
I mean, maybe she likes that, but like even when he like came up walking, like Clayton was like, "Look at this guy's goofy grin," like, you know, he's just coming up like, "Can I steal her from you?" And anyway, so Fishboy ends up not getting the rose, and it goes to Clayton, the Viking man. So good for Clayton.
Which like.
Even on an episode where he wins a rose, we still don't know what the hell he did and what he's doing. Like, I know they make out, I know they whatever, but it's not like...
I have no idea. Like,
they keep showing scenes of him being like, this could be my forever, you know, I'm like...
And we're all like, we know it's not.
Yeah, we know it's not. What is going on right now? Like, this is the dumbest shit ever. Like, it's almost like he's... I'm trying to think of what it's like. It's like if they were to just put like... It was like when we were at the company the other day and my boss like missed the group picture and they photoshopped him in like for the next day or at the end of the presentation they had him photoshopped in. That's what I feel like about Clayton in this season. I feel like they just photoshopped him in here.
They just photoshopped him in.
Yeah, like just to like have him be the Bachelor of the next one. But so yeah, photoshopped. He definitely didn't impress me, but I mean I don't not like him.
He's you know, he's run of the mill. He's nothing spicy. He's nothing. He just, you know, is palatable. Yeah. He's palatable is what he is.
Yeah. So essentially, you know, Nayte goes on a date and it becomes a group date. They go out on a boat and she's like, it's going to become a group date. And she
has her two besties.
You know, what'd you think about them?
The besties were very Minnesotan. They just reminded me of like typical northern Midwestern women. Yep. And they, you know, they were going for the tea. They were going for whatever. And I think Nayte handled himself very well. He like wasn't there to really like shit talk. He like brought up how, you know, people thought that he gave off this sort of impression. He explained his actions and whatever. And like, I thought he wasn't lying. He wasn't like hiding anything.
What was this? What did he say that he said?
He said, well, Chris said that, you know, Chris S had thought that Nayte thought that he had it in the bag, and he had said like, if it's not an if, it's a when, which he explained off as being like, I know like my connection with Michelle, so I knew I was going to be getting a one-on-one date, and he's like, and look, here I am.
Right. So, I mean, they have an awesome connection. You know, Nayte is just cool to watch just because he's just always smiling and just, you know, got good energy.
He's a cool dude. They have a lot of chemistry. They get along. You know, he passed with the best friends with flying colors, that is a test. Yeah. Like if the friends don't like your boo, this is going to probably be a no for you. So,
yeah, I mean, just to be in front of all three of them and to be able to handle it, it's just with a camera in your face, like, good for you, bro. You know, what did they talk about at dinner? Nothing that special. And
nothing. I mean, they could have been talking about how they were wearing matching shirts.
But what ends up happening, the interesting part, is Chris comes walking in. He's like, "Yo, I gotta talk to you, Michelle," and she's like, I've really never seen anyone like interrupt a one-on-one like dinner."
I know these producers be wilding out. I mean, the producers obviously. They put him in the worst little costumes for his group dates. They put him in the risky business thing. They put him in this weird centaur thing for the other thing. So they're
like,
just
that's why they put you in the donkey suit. That's what they were saying.
Yes, that's what they said. But literally, like, they do this to him, and then they're like, okay, you know what we're gonna do? We'll drive you there, though. Like, we'll give you a car. We'll let you get there, and we'll let you just continue to make.
Well, he must have already decided that he wanted to go home, and he was like, "I'll cause some drama before I get out of here, so let's go."
He seems delusional. Like, he really thought, like, he's like Nayte's a bad guy. Like,
well, one way or another,
I'm disappointed in you, and she's all like, what?
Yeah, one way or another, she actually handled it right too. Like, I thought the way she handled it was like pretty.
She's incredible.
Yeah,
she handles all of these dudes so well, and I think it's really her teaching ability. She just like easily is all like.
Because she could have easily gotten offended, like, you know, being like, "What are you doing?" Like, you know. But she handled it with grace, got him the hell out of there. He said his piece, and yeah, so there's that. She comes back to Nayte. "Sorry, I had to leave you and stuff," and they're fine, and everyone's happy that he went home.
They kiss. I go on a whatchamacallit. Yeah, everything's happy.
Yep.
They
so
have some
let's fast forward to the cocktail party, right? There's nothing else that really.
Yeah, the cocktail party for the rose ceremony. This is where Martin, the fuckboy, continues to dig his grave.
Yeah.
Because he already had like a little baby toe in the grave with how he tried to like fight for Jamie last episode. Mm-hmm. And then he just like kind of just, you know, jumps in. He still like has the ability to get out, I guess, because he got a rose.
Well, he just kind of, he did put his foot in his mouth. You know, I've been in those situations before where like, I don't know, this is what happened, but like where you say something and just like the times have changed, buddy. Like she's calling you out on something.
Well, he was trying to say one of those lines that dudes say when they don't know what to say, which is all like, "Oh, you're not like one of the other girls." But like he's like, that's kind of what he said. And then she's like, okay. And he's like, you know, girls in Miami are high maintenance. And she's all like, explain.
Yeah, I loved it.
That's the easiest way to catch any, I'm going to say mostly men, in their bullshit shit, because it's like, if you ask like, or any hateful person that says something like a slur or a comment or whatever, like it's so easy to be like, what do you mean? I don't get it. Because then they have to explain their shitty shit that they said, and then they realize how shitty it is.
What is, I'm going to actually look up the definition of high maintenance, because I was just like, I was just kind of like taking, like, you know, the way he was trying to say, he was like, high maintenance is like a girl that wants everything done for them. And when I think of high maintenance, like, I mean, it's not even specifically like I would say I'm kind of high maintenance. I would
tend to agree.
But
I would tend to agree.
But like, you know, I wouldn't say for the same reasons of that. Like, it's just someone that just kind of like requires these things in their life. Like, whether it's like, you know, I need to be like ready, I need to, you know, I don't know. Let's just look up the definition. I might be putting my foot in my mouth.
I just think he could have easily just
needing a lot of work to keep in good condition. That's definitely me. I'm high maintenance.
Yeah. I think he could have easily just, you know, rolled it off as being all like, yeah, women in Miami like nice things. And he could have easily just rolled it like they like nice things and it's more expensive in Miami. Done. Like that's the probably best way to like.
Yeah, but that's not high maintenance though. And so yeah, it was great to see her call him out on it.
I loved it. I loved it. God forbid. Like this man really thought, because like she was all like, and you could tell he was just saying words. He didn't even know what he was saying anymore.
Oh, I know. And when he was explaining it to the guys.
Then the best. Oh yeah, when he explains it to the dudes, he explains it as a completely different situation. He explains it as like getting vulnerable.
Like, he was like, it's a misunderstanding on her part.
Yeah, I was like, bro, you're so fucked.
So yeah, anyways, he's like
the fact that he got a rose was insane to me.
Yeah. I mean, though, there were other guys that needed to go home. There was like somebody that was like, what the heck? Who is this guy?
Leroy? I don't even remember.
I feel bad, but like, it's like, who was that guy?
He had great outfits. That's all I remember him for. I've never heard him speak more than maybe like 2 seconds.
Oh my God. So yeah, people go home. We see a preview of next week's episode, which it looks like Clayton is like crying and getting mad at Nayte. I mean, that's the way the edit looks like.
Which I don't know why everyone's trying to make. I think it's starting to get to that point of like where people are making Nayte the bad guy just because he's a front runner. Because he's confident. I don't think he's overly cocky. I haven't seen anything to make him a bad guy.
Well, he does insert himself in certain, like, dramas, not like specifically this last one. I don't really
think so.
No.
I think more like they come to him because they're insecure because they know where he stands.
I mean, I don't know. Like, they're just like, I understand like why like people would hate on, like, it's almost like why somebody
that sounds like it's just coming from a place of insecurity though,
right? I mean, it's almost like if someone were to hate on me sometimes, like I feel like why, like because like I'm nice, or like I talk like, I'm trying to be like nice to people and stuff. People like just sometimes feel like that's a fucking, like, you're lying.
It's because they're insecure, so that's their problem.
I mean, it's just like, who cares what I'm doing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, worry about yourself. Like, that's kind of like what it should be on all like everywhere. But like, when people start seeing you like getting ahead and like you're just all smiles and everything's all perfect, like you're going to get haters. Like I've had that at work, I've had that like with bosses, I've had that with whatever it is. And some people just can't be like you, so they'll just hate on you, and
right, that's what I'm saying.
So I mean, necessarily though, like it looked like there was something about acting or something. It's like you're trying to be an actor, like that's what Clayton was saying or something.
I'm so sick of this with these fucking shows. Like,
I know.
Like we got to remember how they cast these. Like they can't be. I mean, like obviously, if you are being an actor, you might be more privy to different casting things. Like that doesn't mean that you're trying to act on this show though.
Yeah, even if you're an actor, you just might also just have a bolder personality. Like, you just are comfortable being around a camera, comfortable in weird situations that like, most people are like nervous about. So anything else that you really saw out of the previews?
It just looks like she's going to be coming down to a tough decision. And it looks like one of the dads is going to try to like pretty much turn her away from his son, being all like, he's not ready for this. I don't want him to hurt you. That wasn't her dad? No, that was not her dad.
Okay. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens the rest of the season, because it looks like she has a pretty deep connection with pretty much the rest of the guys that are there, right?
Yeah. I mean, except for Martin.
Well, yeah, I would say she has a deeper connection, and they were like making out. I mean, in the previews.
I don't really think, but you could tell even like with her
body
language.
Who got the rose last? What's his name? The nice guy that I told you was going to go home in a couple weeks. The one that was screaming off when they were looking at the skyline.
Oh, Rodney.
Yeah, he's going home next week. And she's going to be all like, I'm sorry. Like, I think you're awesome.
He's a nice guy. They're just not meant to be. It's done.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep. There were just other guys that needed to go home before him.
Yeah, that Casey guy looked like he didn't even belong.
Right. He was trying so hard. I was like, dude, no. So, yeah, do we have any other Bachelor Nation stuff going on?
Yeah, so Hannah Brown has recently come out about how she hooked up with Pilot Pete during the airing of his season. So like the season was over, and that was kind of like during the gray period of when he had, I think, ended his engagement with Hannah Ann, and then was starting to like think about rekindling something with Maddie. So I guess they were at some function together, and they ended up leaving together and, hooked up. But, she said, there wasn't any chemistry. I could tell he had other things on his mind, and now she's happily dating some other hot guy. So good for her. Katie Thurston is doing 12 Days of Messy. So since the Red album, Taylor's version, released, she's been matching up her former contestants to different songs and posting them to her Instagram stories.
What do you think of this?
I mean, it's what it is. It's messy. It's exactly that.
You know, I don't know about this Katie. I mean, Claire, you know, didn't have the best like post-Bachelorette's like, you know, time.
Claire didn't even have like a good 2-week season.
Yeah. So yes, we can't really count.
And then
her
Katie
in
got a
this.
full season and it wasn't great.
Right. So I'm guessing, you know, Katie is kind of like, I mean, trying to capitalize on her 15 minutes. But I don't see her being long lasting like a Tayshia or like Caitlyn or, you know, a Michelle. Any of these people that like are, you can just tell like the way, you know, there's a difference between Katie and there's a difference between Caitlyn. Like, you know,
That's because I was about to say, like, I feel like she was trying to be the next Caitlyn because Caitlyn was known for being kind of like off the wall, kind of does stuff by her own rules, does whatever, like has that kind of personality. And I feel like Katie's trying so hard to be Caitlyn in that way of being like spunky and different. But I just think it's not landing.
yeah, I mean, she just might be a little bit more immature or just, you know, I don't know. I really don't know. That's just my hot take on that. Well, that's what's up. Yeah, do anything else?
Not that I found.
All right. Well, week 5 in the books. So we'll have to catch next week's Bachelorette for some updates with this drama. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, actually, there is no drama, but there's gonna be. You know, there's gonna be. I know there
You're
is.
right. You're right, Sai.
There always is. You know.
There always is.
There always is.
Future Bachelor Podcast.